Have you ever seen a massive commercial truck get literal medical stitches? What you are looking at right now is one of the most controversial automotive repairs ever caught on camera. Millions of people have watched this mechanic perform absolute plastic surgery on a completely shattered front bumper. At first glance, this looks like incredibly satisfying craftsmanship. It feels like we're watching Dr. Frankenstein bring a dead piece of plastic back to life. But if you look closely at the techniques being used here, you will realize this is actually a masterclass in what not to do. The internet is absolutely divided over whether this is pure genius or a complete hack job. Today, we're going to break down every single step of this viral repair. We're going to expose the massive technical mistakes that are being made right in front of your eyes. I'm also going to test your own automotive knowledge along the way. Let's see if you can spot the disastrous errors before I reveal them to you. The video starts with the mechanic holding a broken chunk of red plastic perfectly in place. He then brings out a very specific heated tool to melt zigzag metal wire directly into the crack. The visual is incredibly satisfying and almost mesmerizing to watch. But before we go any further, I have a quick knowledge check for you. Does anyone actually know what this specific tool is called? It looks a lot like a heavy-duty soldering iron, but it's actually something completely different. Take a guess down in the comments right now before I give you the answer. Did you lock in your guess? This device is called a hot stapler, or a plastic welding gun. It's a tool specifically designed to embed metal reinforcement directly into thermoplastics. When the trigger is pulled, an electrical current rapidly heats the metal staple until it's glowing hot. This allows it to melt effortlessly right through the hard plastic shell. Once the mechanic releases the trigger, the plastic immediately cools and hardens around the metal wire, creating a rigid mechanical bond bridging the two broken pieces together. It's a brilliant concept that saves thousands of plastic parts from ending up in landfills every single year. However, the way this specific mechanic is using the hot stapler is fundamentally wrong. This brings us to our next interactive challenge. Look very closely at where he's placing these metal staples. If you were doing this exact repair in your own garage, which side of the bumper would you melt these staples into? Would you do it on the outside just like him, or would you put them on the inside? Drop your answer below. If you guessed the inside, you are absolutely correct. Factually, hot staples must always be embedded into the backside of the plastic panel. Doing it on the outside of the bumper is a massive professional faux pas. By melting them into the exterior painted surface, the mechanic is creating a nightmare for himself. He now has a protruding row of metal bumps that completely ruins the smooth line of the fascia. To fix this, he's going to have to grind away the bulk of the metal staples just to make them flush. Grinding away the metal instantly destroys the structural integrity of the very repair he just made. Half of the staple's thickness will be completely lost to the grinding wheel. Furthermore, putting the staples on the outside means he'll need a massive amount of body filler to hide the ugly scar. Body filler, commonly known as Bondo, is extremely prone to cracking when applied too thick. Because a plastic bumper naturally flexes as the truck drives down the road, that thick layer of filler is destined to fail. If he had just taken the extra 10 minutes to remove the bumper and staple it from the inside, the exterior would remain flush. He could have simply sanded the hairline crack and applied a tiny skim coat of flexible glaze. The repair would have been 10 times stronger and looked completely invisible after paint. But the mistakes don't stop there. Let's talk about the long-term survival of this questionable repair job. He's leaving all of these embedded metal pins exposed right at the surface level. Here's a knowledge check for the real car guys watching this right now. If you leave these metal pins exposed directly under a thin layer of primer and paint, what is inevitably going to happen? What happens after the truck goes through its first major rainstorm or hits a puddle? Tell me exactly what chemical reaction is going to ruin this paint job in the comments below. If you said rust, you nailed it perfectly. Unless those staples are made of highly expensive marine-grade stainless steel, they're going to oxidize. The moment moisture penetrates that thin layer of cheap body filler, the metal will begin to rust. When steel rusts, it physically expands and swells in size. This expansion will literally push the paint right off the bumper from the inside out. Within a few months, this truck is going to look like it has a terrifying mechanical rash. You'll see little bubbling rust spots outlining the exact zigzag shape of every single staple. It's a ticking bomb of automotive decay disguised as a professional repair. Now let's move on to the most visually shocking part of the entire video. The mechanic grabs an angle grinder to chop off the protruding legs of the metal staples. This leads to our next massive interactive challenge. Take a very close look at the mechanic grinding down those metal pins right now. Can you spot the most expensive, catastrophic mistake he's making in this exact shot? It has nothing to do with the bumper itself. Scan the surrounding area and tell me in the comments what he's destroying. Did you spot the tragedy happening in the background? He completely failed to tape off or protect the vehicle's expensive headlight. He's firing a continuous stream of glowing hot metal sparks directly onto the unprotected plastic lens. Modern headlight lenses are made of polycarbonate plastic, which melts incredibly easily. Those tiny red-hot pieces of shrapnel are instantly melting and embedding themselves deep into the clear plastic. He's also blasting sparks all over the surrounding clear coat of the red paint. You can't just wipe those sparks off with a rag once they cool down. They're permanently fused into the surface of the delicate headlight assembly. Just like the staples we talked about earlier, these embedded metal flakes will eventually encounter moisture. When they rust, the entire headlight lens will be covered in thousands of tiny orange dots. The plastic will become cloudy, pitted, and completely ruined forever. A brand new commercial truck headlight can cost thousands of dollars to replace. By trying to save a few bucks on the bumper, he's effectively destroyed a perfectly good lighting system. It's a prime example of why taking shortcuts in an auto body shop always costs more in the end. Speaking of taking shortcuts, we need to address the severe lack of safety gear in this video. The mechanic is operating a high-speed angle grinder without wearing any safety glasses whatsoever. He's also melting toxic synthetic plastics and burning metal without wearing gloves or a respirator mask. Breathing in the fumes from melted polyurethane and polycarbonate is incredibly toxic to your lungs. One shattered grinding disc or a rogue piece of metal wire could easily cause permanent blindness. This is exactly why you should never treat these viral internet videos as professional instructional guides. Always wear your personal protective equipment when attempting any DIY projects at home. Now let's address a massive debate that is raging in the comments section of the original video. Thousands of angry viewers are claiming this repair is highly illegal and incredibly dangerous. They argue that melting a plastic bumper destroys the truck's carefully engineered crumple zones. Let's test your automotive safety knowledge right now. Does repairing a plastic bumper cover like this actually ruin the truck's high-speed crash safety? Type yes or no in the comments and explain your reasoning. Are you ready for the absolute truth? The answer is no, it does not compromise the vehicle's crash safety at all. The actual component that keeps the driver safe is a massive, heavy-duty steel or aluminum crash bar. That structural crash bar is bolted directly to the vehicle's steel frame, hidden completely underneath the plastic cover. It's the steel frame and the hidden crash bar that act as the true crumple zones. So, whether this plastic cover is held together by hot staples, zip ties, or superglue, the driver is equally safe. Repairing cosmetic plastic doesn't violate any strict automotive safety laws or compromise the structural integrity of the truck. However, that leads us right into the final, ultimate debate surrounding this video. This brings up our last strategic challenge for you. Quick question for you guys regarding the pure economics of this entire job. Do you think it's actually cheaper to spend 3 hours repairing, sanding, and painting this plastic, or just buying a brand new bumper? Think about the cost of materials, the tools, and the mechanic's hourly wage. Lock in your final answer right now before we break down the brutal math. The answer heavily depends entirely on where you live in the world. If you live in the United States, Canada, or Western Europe, labor rates are astronomically high. An average body shop in America charges well over $100 per hour for labor. This repair would easily take 3 to 4 hours to staple, fill, block sand, prime, and paint. You'd be paying over $400 just for the privilege of having a patched-up inferior bumper.
Meanwhile, you can buy a brand new, perfect aftermarket plastic bumper cover online for about $150. In Western countries, the pure economics make replacements significantly cheaper and faster. But in developing nations where replacement parts are an absolute rarity, the math flips completely. In many parts of the world, importing a massive truck bumper costs an absolute fortune in shipping and heavy customs taxes. At the same time, skilled manual labor in those regions is incredibly inexpensive. A mechanic might only charge a few dollars an hour for his meticulous, time-consuming craftsmanship. In that specific economic environment, spending an entire afternoon stitching a bumper together is highly profitable. It's a brilliant display of resourcefulness driven by absolute necessity. It forces mechanics to develop unique skills that modern parts replacers in the West have completely forgotten.
Instead of just unbolting a broken part and throwing it in the trash, they actually breathe new life into it. There is something deeply respectable about a culture that prioritizes fixing things over sheer disposable consumerism. But just because the effort is respectable does not mean the execution is flawless. As we have clearly seen today, doing the repair on the outside of the panel is a massive unforced error. Grinding hot metal sparks directly into an expensive headlight is a heartbreaking lack of spatial awareness. Leaving exposed metal staples to rust underneath body filler guarantees that this job will eventually fail. The internet is absolutely obsessed with quick fixes that look fantastic on a smartphone screen. These oddly satisfying videos are designed perfectly to capture your attention and keep you scrolling. We naturally love to see broken things magically stitched together in a 60-second montage. But real automotive restoration is rarely as glamorous or as instantaneous as social media makes it appear. True bodywork requires meticulous preparation, intense patience, and an understanding of material science. You have to know how different plastics expand and contract under the blistering heat of the sun. You have to understand how to properly bevel a crack so that the epoxy has enough surface area to grip. You must respect the limits of body filler, knowing that applying it too thick is a guaranteed recipe for disaster. Most importantly, a true professional treats every single part of the customer's vehicle with absolute respect. That means taking 5 seconds to apply masking tape over a fragile headlight lens before firing up a grinder. It means wearing the proper safety equipment to ensure you can actually show up to work the next day. This video serves as the perfect educational tool for anyone wanting to get into automotive repair. Hot staplers are incredibly affordable online and can be used to repair household appliances, motorcycle fairings, and even children's toys. Owning one of these tools can genuinely save you hundreds of dollars around the house. But this video also serves as a stark warning about the dangers of performing a job without thinking it through. Always analyze the structural needs of your repair before you pull the trigger on your welding gun. Hide your reinforcements on the backside of your project to preserve the pristine exterior finish. Use high-quality materials that won't rust or degrade when exposed to the harsh outer elements. And never, ever let hot sparks fly anywhere near glass, plastic lenses, or sensitive automotive paint. We have covered a massive amount of technical information today. We challenged your knowledge on tools, crash safety, rust mechanics, and body shop economics. How many of the interactive challenges did you actually manage to guess correctly? Did you know about the hidden steel crash bars, or did you fall for the crumple zone myth? Were you one of the sharp-eyed viewers who immediately spotted the sparks ruining the headlight? Be honest with yourself and let the community know how you scored down in the comments section. It's completely fine if you got some of them wrong, because that's exactly how we learn and grow. The automotive world is endlessly complicated, and there's always something new to discover. Even seasoned professionals can watch a video like this and learn a valuable lesson on what to avoid. The next time you see a viral repair video pop up on your feed, I want you to watch it with a critical eye. Don't just blindly accept the shiny, oddly satisfying final result that the creator wants you to see. Look at the background, check the techniques, and question the long-term viability of their methods. You might just find that the most popular videos on the internet are actually hiding the biggest mistakes.
If you enjoyed tearing apart this viral sensation and learning the real science behind the repair, you're in the right place. We are dedicated to bringing you the absolute truth behind the internet's most questionable automotive hacks. There are countless more videos out there featuring terrible fiberglass jobs, dangerous frame welds, and hilarious paint disasters. We are going to find every single one of them and expose exactly what's really going on behind the scenes. Our goal is to make you the smartest person in the room the next time you walk into an auto body shop. You'll know exactly what to look for to ensure you're never ripped off by a lazy mechanic. You'll understand the difference between a cheap cosmetic patch and a genuine structural restoration. You'll be able to confidently tackle your own DIY project, armed with professional knowledge and proper safety habits. Knowledge is the ultimate power when it comes to maintaining and repairing your expensive vehicles. We refuse to let terrible internet advice cost you thousands of dollars in ruined parts and dangerous driving conditions. So keep your tools sharp, your safety glasses on, and your mind always questioning what you see online. Don't forget to hit that like button if you learned something entirely new today. Share this video with that one friend who always tries to fix their car with duct tape and superglue. They might just learn why their bumper keeps falling off every time they hit a speed bump. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss our next deep dive into automotive internet madness.